On this YouTube channel system, content is created with two separate yet equally important goals: the entertainment of the viewer, and the sickening question of seeing how much I can rip off and offend before actually getting demonetized. I'm the Breph, and this is my story. Oh yeah, double intro baby, it's one of those videos. Ah yes, the sweet smell of YouTube in the morning. The early hours of the morning in fact. It's currently 2:15 at the time of recording this, and I have officially run out of F's to give. So here it goes, the channel is dead and I'm a man with nothing to lose, so strap in you saucy little minxes. We're going for a ride. Quite literally actually, as I'm going to welcome you all back to Hoenn. Today I want to find out, can you beat Pokémon Emerald with only a DRATINI? Before we begin, if you like this content and want to see the evolution of my now deceased channel, leave a like on this video, hit that subscribe button and leave a comment or 5 and stay tuned until the end for a rather brief update. Anyway, you all know the drill, we pick the female character, naming ourselves Breph and cracking on with our journey. Remember I mentioned that ride earlier? Well, to be precise, we're role-playing as Madeleine McCann, travelling alone in the back of a big scary vehicle. And oi, I see you typing. Don't start on that too soon crap, it's been 15 bloody years. It's not even an accurate roleplay for God's sake, anyway. I'm still alive at the end of it. From there, usual stuff happens. We set the clock timer, watch a bit of telly and head over to harass the neighbour. Upstairs in his bedroom, we play witness to a sickening sight. I mean, God man, whatever you're into, but put it the frick away when you're not using it. Ugh. Running out of there, we head north to rescue a man desperately trying to escape the consequences of trying to give a sleeping Zigzagoon a little bit of his pseudo-woodo. And we do that by whipping out our DRATINI, which is exactly as bad as you think it is. Back at the lab, we name the fella Little Brephy, and you all know why. Yes, the female character model can have a little fella too. It's 2022, you close-minded bigots. Women can have DRATINI too. God, next you lot will be saying male character models can't have cloisters. Grow up! Our first fight is against Brendan and his little ball of memes that I'm sure you all like. He isn't an issue. Rap may be pathetic, but with the right level of training and utilising Thunderwave, we barely scrape through, giving our little Brephy that special kind of 69 EXP taste. A whole lot of nothing really happens until we reach Rustborough and the Rock-type gym leader Roxanne. Having tried this fight a lot, let me tell you, it's tough. I'd go and get the Quick Claw before this one, as Twister is our best move and Rock Tomb's speed drop could be a killer. However, as it turned out, Roxanne was a pushover and we're off. Outside the gym, we encounter a man running away with a briefcase full to the brim with used panties in what can only be described as a shady transaction gone wrong. But we're the ones tasked with rectifying it, and it wasn't an enjoyable experience. Let's just leave it at that. Still, as a reward, we're granted the ability to travel in style to the tiny island of Dewford. Once on solid ground again, we immediately dive into the cave, where we're accosted alone in a small room by a strange man in a big trench coat. As he undid the straps and whipped it open, I was struck by terrible flashbacks to my time as an altar boy in the Catholic Church. However, one glance down gave me all the courage I needed to take matters into my own hands. I cracked open my belt, revealing my two giant red Pokeballs and my phenomenal little Brephy, all of which was bigger than the strange man's. We exchanged phone numbers and I was finally allowed to pass. Fueled by adrenaline, I headed straight for the gym. Brawly actually caused me some trouble when I first tried to fight him. I was shocked too. Fortunately, it didn't take me too long to figure out what strategy to use. Thunderwave was needed on Makuhita, and with a little bit of luck thrown in there, level 20 was enough to see us through and to claim the second badge. I'd initially written into the script that I would go to sleep at this point and come back in the morning, but I really can't be asked to do that. So we're picking up again at the museum in Slateport, where Archie rudely interrupts us to call us a simp. Normally I'd insert a join the channel for a simpy moment stuff here, but given my recent upload schedule, forget that one, just admire its beauty. Next on the list of people to slap around with my little wing-eared friend is Brendan in what is usually the most annoying and impossible of fights out there during a casual playthrough. Twister was originally going to be my move of choice here, but at some point I realised I was doing more damage with Dragon Rage, so I swapped to that in what turned out to be a rather comfortable win after all. Which is very much the same story for when we came across Wally, all scared and tucked up in a doorway with his uncle close next to him. It brought a flashback once again to my youth when my uncle slapped me in the face at night, but when I looked, both his hands were on my shoulders. A terrible night. So, naturally, I got involved and showed Wally's uncle the best technique to fiddle a youngling and made sure he couldn't tell his parents by defeating his pathetic Rolts. Look, I told you all at the beginning, I've got no more Fs to give, just enjoy the ride. Watson's the third gym leader in our way, and actually, our very first attempt was victorious. I opted for Twister in the early rounds for some reason or another, I just did, but when Magneton came out, Dragon Rage was my only option. I ended up defeating it easily, and when Manectric came out, I got paralysed, although we didn't actually see the effects of it as our Shedskin ability kicked in, allowing us to win the fight and claim our third badge. We all know what comes next. A trek up Meteor Falls to watch the cutscene there, followed by a full 180 all the way back to Mount Chimney to face Maxie. Twister was doing some serious damage in our overleveled state, which was a lot of fun for this fight. That said, it didn't last long. Flannery is a proper hot little salt. But don't worry, she's legal for all you American lot. This wasn't straightforward. I got into a pattern of having to reset a lot. We just couldn't tank a lot of the blows we were dealt. In the end, I used Thunder Wave on Torkoal, which gave me the edge I needed. Yeah, that's right. When a fiery redhead stands before me, smoking hot as she is, nobody can edge it out quite like I can. 4 badges down and I'm ready to set up, strap on, strap in, and pay a visit to my daddy Norman. Growing up, he was a big, intimidating man who could hit hard across the arse should I step out of line. What he didn't know was I'm naughty and I loved it. As I grew up, I knew I needed to get him back. So, when we arrived at the gym and I whipped out little Brephy and he laughed, I knew I was in trouble. Slacking was just too strong for me. Time and time again I had to go and seriously over-leveled to Valentino Rossi level. I learned early on that I couldn't use Thunderwave thanks to his signature facade. Ultimately, I bent Daddy over and thrashed him thoroughly. A well-deserved 5th badge. And here is where I made my first major mistake. I immediately got overexcited and learned that little Brephy can spray all over anyone in front of him. Besides being against several laws, it was also the worst mistake I could make. I taught Surf to Dratini and immediately regretted my choice. #Breff's a pleb. I had an idea of my final moveset and Surf wasn't a part of it. I considered resetting, but I actually just couldn't be asked for that, and I didn't know when the last time I saved was, so I just have to push through. The next step for me is an unusual one. I head off to New Moorville to switch off the generator and pick up the TM for Thunderbolt. Dratini might have a higher physical base stat, but making use of that special attack was always going to be the better option for me, especially when Dratini learns Outrage and gets that same type attack bonus. So I opted to neglect that attack stat and to train on special. And off to the casino I went. I bought myself the TM for Ice Beam and we were off towards the Weather Institute. On the way we bumped into that nice man from the cave, Stephen again. He gave us a compliment.
Nice car.
And we headed on our way up to the Institute where we're given an utterly useless creature which we nicknamed Cast Cuck because that's what it is, and we head off to fight Brendan. Given we're on the verge of level 50, this wasn't a tough encounter in the slightest. Brendan knew his time was up, and just like a 90-year-old porn star, he chose to go out with a bang. Get it? A bang? Because the porn star and the heart rate, he had a heart attack. His heart literally exploded in his chest. And just like that 90-year-old porn star, I doubt we'll see him again. Damn, thinking about that 90-year-old porn star is giving me a semi. Winona is next. The flappiest woman in Fortree. The queen of the tits. Biggest swallow in the east. The main question now is whether the master of the rough-faced shag can stand up to this horned screamer. Thunderbolt and Ice Beam are powerful moves, and they're really the only two moves needed in order to batter her aside, leaving her tied up and red-faced as we progress towards Mount Pyre. Up on the mountain, with a big, strong man in front of me, Archie gives us a lesson for life. The lesson, in 2 words, is simple. Pull out. It's something your dad should have done, something his dad should have done, and something his dad before him should have done. And it's something you should do. Let me give you some examples. Are you bored of sitting in lane 1 on the motorway? Pull out. No, don't check those mirrors, just pull out. Tired of feeling like a nobody, feeling uncool and having no friends? Got a pack of fags in your pocket? Pull one out. Forget those health warnings, just pull it out and become instantly cool. On a date with your girl on a Saturday night? Pull out. No, not in bed, but from the date, because Saturdays are for the boys. Just a warning, don't do any of these, they're just jokes. Doing any of those 3 things will probably end up in your untimely death, especially that last one. Trust me, do not do the last one. Somehow now I have to segue back into the script, and I have no idea how. So, future Breph, if you just insert one of those, technical difficulties kind of things, then we can just jump straight back into the script like nothing happened. After this, I head into Lily Cove and to the move deleter, removing Surf and replacing it with Flamethrower to complete our moveset for the game. Strange choice for some, I'm sure, but with that percentage burn chance, it just provides a little extra versatility in my opinion, and hopefully that's something I'll be able to make use of. The Magma Hideout is next, and the big bad encounter with Maxi once more. We meet him just as he busts open his big blue ball all over us. As if that wasn't bad enough, he then wanted to fight. Flamethrower burned my Tiana, Thunderbolt destroyed Crobat, and Outrage was barely enough to hold off Camerupt, but it did. Maxi really wasn't so bad of an issue, all things considered. Unfortunately, the next major fight is Tate and Liza, and in truth, it's one of 2 roadblocks that usually occur in single Pokemon challenges, with the first being that Brendan fight from earlier. This was no exception to that rule. Naively, I assumed that level 57 was going to be good enough, but time and time again, we were absolutely decimated. It wasn't even a case of wait for good RNG, it was simply a case of level up and level up again. I tried at level 63 but still couldn't do anything, so it was time. Level 69. I was expecting to have to go and level up more, but actually no, I was able to win. Thunderbolt and Ice Beam were really the only moves I needed again, but a little bit of outrage never fails to spice up my videos. Any attention is good attention, as they say. With Tate and Liza defeated and a whole bunch of story stuff done, including a really straightforward double battle with Steven in the Moss Deep Space Center, we head where it's better, down where it's wetter, in your mum's jeans, and inside that cavernous, echoing, gaping place that is your mum, we only go and bump into Archie and Kyogre. If you need any scale as to how deep and spacious a space your mum actually is, Kyogre is a 14-foot, nearly 800-pound whale. And if that doesn't tell you just how massive it is inside your mum's jeans, then I don't think anything will. But I mean, look how easy Kyogre decided to leave that place. I mean, it didn't even touch the sides when it came out, so... Oh, the semi's back. Well, with Kyogre and Groudon both awake and pissed off, the world is at risk of ending, so naturally, who has to save the day but a pleb and his little fella off up to the Sky Pillar to awaken Master Oogway's long dormant schlong, which flies off to save the day with talks of peace, leaving us the opportunity to fight Juan for the final gym badge. Now, let's be honest here. I may be over leveled and I may be packing some serious power in my belt with this little guy, but not even I expected to smack aside the final gym with such ease that I didn't even take a single point of damage. With Juan down on his knees in front of me, my thoughts shift to the final 6 trainers of the league, and before I knew it, I was done and I was moving on to Victory Road. Wally came around again in Victory Road. He clearly wanted round 2, and with his uncle nowhere to be seen, it fell up to me to administer the appropriate paddling. To be brutally honest, Flamethrower was my clutch move in this fight. I creamed Wally with Little Brephy. Gardevoir was the opportunity to bust open some hard-hitting outrage, with Little Brephy finishing it up as soon as it came out. With Wally drenched in sweat and left red-faced and shaking, the Elite Four and Champion are all that stand before me in success of this challenge. First up is Sydney, specialising in the dark side. On paper, I really didn't have a reliable counter to Sydney's team. However, on a breakdown of that, I was more than prepared. Only Mightyena and Absol provided me a challenge with an absence of super effective moves. Overall, it wasn't the difficult encounter that I was worried it would be. Second up is probably my least favourite member to face in a challenge like this, Phoebe. Her team isn't actually too tough, consisting of 2 Dusclops, 2 Bannet and a Sableye. The issue is that the first Dusclops has the move Curse. If we get hit by that, it's an immediate reset for us. Shed Skin may remove the danger of Toxic, but it can't save us with Curse. Fortunately, this time we weren't afflicted by that, and Phoebe had no choice but to stand aside. On paper, going up against the Ice-type trainer Glacier is absolutely terrifying, giving our Dragon typing. But she has a slight issue that we have Flamethrower and Thunderbolt on our side. Glalie melted away to the power of our Flame. Celio and Walrein frazzled with the power of our Lightning. And Glacier? She was a pushover, mate. Wish.com Lance is next, and we're on slightly uneven footing. Dragon on dragon action may sound appealing with those dreamy, fiery mouths, big, thick tails, and the beating off of wings. Oh, hang on. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot I was recording for a minute there. But seriously, being a pre-evolution against several fully and partly evolved Pokemon is tough, and while I knew Outrage was going to be a horrific attack for any member of Drake's team, the confusion risk that comes afterwards leaves me vulnerable to attack myself. Instead, I opted for Ice Beam, still super effective and a good choice at that. We defeated Drake without taking a single point of damage, but the biggest challenge is yet to come. Against Wallace, the champion, and his water types, we really don't have any good moves to reliably do damage, and that sounds counterintuitive given our moveset. Thunderbolt is obviously the answer, but we have many issues and even more resets. For example, Wailord isn't easy. Blizzard seems to hit literally all the time and can completely nail our health bar in one go. Tentacruel, being a hentai lover's dream, is my absolute worst nightmare. hitting hard with brutal attacks. Milotic is such a tank, just an absolute beast, and without pure luck we can't hope to survive. And even if we get through those, we still have Gyarados, Ludicolo and Whiscash to go through. Oh, it's horrible, this fight. On our winning attempt, Paralysis and Rain Dance got us through Wailord without damage, which meant that when a lucky crit on Tentacruel came around, we were through to Milotic without losing a single point of health. Hitting a Thunderbolt for great damage, we both get hit by and shake off the effects of Toxic in one turn. We then get into some kind of T-Bolt recover spam thing going on, but the damage of Thunderbolt was just far too much to handle, and ultimately, I've lost my place in the script. And ultimately, we are on cloud 9 when Gyarados comes out and goes down immediately to a 4-time super effective Thunderbolt. Ludicolo then comes out and I'm a little bit unsure of what to do. So I opt for Ice Beam, hoping that the freeze happens, but it doesn't come. Seeing the health bar of Ludicolo though, I opted for Outrage, hoping that we get a 3-hit to take out Whiscash 2, but we only got the 2-hit. Tanking a hard-hitting Earthquake in return. Defying the odds and pushing through confusion, we hit that final Outrage, and we have beaten Wallace. No inappropriate jokes here, genuinely nothing but respect. It was a brilliant battle, one worthy of placing my little Brephy firmly in the Hall of Fame. The game is not yet over. There remains one more trainer for me to overcome. Deep in the bowels of Meteor Falls, getting his rock off, stands Stephen Stone. I won't drag this one out with my failures, for there were numerous. In short, I was level 92 with leftovers equipped by the end of it. Immediately, I get a critical Thunderbolt on Skarmory, downing it in one hit. I got lucky in tanking a lower roll Earthquake from Aggron, meaning our health recovery was pretty decent too. Claydol then came out and light screened immediately, making my task a lot more difficult than it already was, especially with Metagross being up next. I was terrified of this thing, but luckily though, the flamethrower I hit was a critical which bypassed the special defense rays of the screen and KOing it in one go. Cradily was actually even more scary, with Ancient Power boosts, Confuse Ray and Ingrain a constant threat. However, we got another critical hit on Ice Beam that knocked it out before it could capitalise on the damage it dealt, leaving me one-on-one with my final opponent, Armaldo. Without Surf, I knew what needed to be done. 2 Outrages later, and this game is over. Oh, what a day. How much fun was this? Well, not at all if you're a snowflake, I imagine, but who really cares about that? If you were offended by anything in this video, then feel free to leave a comment saying, I'm a little snowflake and this hurt my feelings, so we can all laugh at you in return. Small life update now to excuse my erratic, to say the least, upload schedule. I'm in the very final stages of my law degree now. I've got one more exam and my dissertation due in the next month, and after that, life is finally my own again. Expect a few more uploads from August onwards. I'm not going to commit to, too many once a week, every 10 days, anything like that, but expect a few more. You can also expect more non-Pokemon challenges, and I have an extra special series planned beginning in November, so look out for that one and please do get involved with it. It's going to be a slight twist from what you're used to. I can try and throw in the jokes occasionally, but it's going to be a slightly more serious video if that piques your interest. Anyway, that's it. I'm keeping the update brief, so thank you all so much for watching. Huge thank you to the channel members, and feel free to join the Discord server with the link in the description. Anyway, thank you all again so much for watching. Have yourselves a fantastic day, and I look forward to seeing all of you, and hopefully some more, in the next one.